What's going on, everyone? Just a little heads up, this video is going to contain alcohol and how to properly taste test a beer. So I would ask that the audience be at least 21 years of age, and obviously don't ever drink and drive, and drink responsibly. Oh hey, didn't see you there. Now that you're coming to my bar, let me introduce myself. My name is Dylan McKee and I'm here at the local quarantine bar. You know, today I was talking to a couple people how they taste beers, and it occurred to me that a lot of people really don't know how to. College kids especially, it can be a little rough. So today I'd like to tell you about how to properly taste a beer. Does that sound pretty good? Awesome. Well, before we get started on the right way, let me go ahead and show you a couple bad ways to taste a beer. Oh yeah. Oh man, long day. So obviously those were very bad and improper ways to taste a beer, and you really don't even taste what you're supposed to be getting out of each can, especially with the fine lager, pilsner, or ale. So the proper way to taste a beer, and the best way to look at it, goes through an acronym called AATMF, and it stands for appearance, aroma, taste, mouthfeel, and finally finish. So we're going to go about appearance right now to start off with. So when you order a beer at a bar or brewery, wherever you are, you're most likely going to get them poured into a glass. So we go and get a beer. So for today's video, we're going to use a Miller Lite. It is my favorite beer. The way appearance should work is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is a very clean glass, and this is a glass I actually use every night. I just ran it through the dishwasher and hand wiped it. This glass has been sitting on my bar back here for a couple months, and it's pretty dirty, filthy, so I'm going to give you some advice next time you go to a bar to, you can tell if your glass is clean or not. So when you take a beer and pour it into a glass, you want to start at a 45-degree angle. Once you get that foam just a little bit on top, you just turn it back. Bam. That is how a beer should look like in a glass. And what appearance, what you want to look at for the appearance is, one, you want to look for these bubbles coming up from the bottom. You don't want them sticking to the sides. You want them coming from that very middle part. There's usually like a imprint on the glass where the maker put their mark. So you want to look for them coming up right about there. And then on the top, you want to have about a ½ inch to an inch of foam head. Now, I just poured this out of a can, so there's not going to be as much foam, but if you're at a local bar and you're getting it from the draft, you don't want there to be foam from here up. That's just not appealing to anyone. The beer's going to taste flat and it's not going to be good. So the biggest thing with appearance is, before you even drink a beer, your appearance is going to tell you if you're going to like it or not. If you see something that looks really spicy or ugly and looks rotten, your mouth is already saying, no, I don't want that. And this goes the same for a beer. If you get a beer out of a dirty glass and it just looks filthy and you can see, lip marks from the previous customer, are you going to want to drink that? No. So obviously, when you get a beer, the proper way to taste it to start off with is a just great appearance in a glass. This glass says Miller Lite on it. It's an old retro style, and there's a Miller in it. So right away, I am already intrigued to try this beer. So coming after appearance in the acronym, we have aroma. Now the proper way to get the right aroma and smell of a beer is, you're going to want to swirl it, and then you're going to want to take 3 short sniffs. And when you sniff a beer, what's going to happen is that smell is going to go through your head, out your mouth, and it's going to hit all of your glands that get your tasting. Smell actually makes up pretty much the majority of what you taste. It's like when you get a cold, sometimes food doesn't taste normal, and that's because your nose is stopped up and you don't get the right smell. So, like I said, you're going to swirl it. You want to get those flavors mixing up a little bit. 3 short sniffs. And you can hold it if you want to, but when you do that, like I said, you're getting all the aromas coming out the top. With a Miller Lite or a light beer, it's usually going to be kind of clean, freshy, a refreshing smell. A lot of craft beers have a lot of hops, so you might get some fruity smells, you might get some earthy smells. Cervezas have that little skunky flavor smell to them. So it all depends on the beer you're drinking. Like I said, we just poured a Miller Lite, which is a Pilsner. So to me, it's a little refreshing. It has a little bit, not of a strong hop smell, but it's kind of that little spark is what I like to call it when you drink it. It kind of bites you a little bit compared to some other light beers like Busch Light or Bud Light. It's kind of flat and almost watery tasting. So after smell, you have taste. Now the proper way to taste the beer is you have to get a mouthful. What I mean by that is you take a big gulp, but you don't swallow it. You want to hold it in your mouth until it gets warm. The warmer the beer gets in your mouth, the more ingredients and flavors are going to stand out to you. And this is especially true when it comes to hoppy beer. Hops can have a variety of different flavors and smells and tastes. There's just endless amounts. It depends where they grow, what's in it, the characteristics of it, what temperature it was fermented in, all that. So the proper way is to hold it in your mouth till it gets warm, and then you can also chew it. Chew it comes under the acronym mouthfeel, and this is especially with like thicker beers, a lot of darker contrasted beers, like if you go to a German bar, an Irish bar, and you get a black stout or an oatmeal stout, it's going to be a little thicker. So when you chew it, you'll actually get the density of it. Obviously with the Miller Lite, it's not going to be too dense. It's pretty light, a light beer compared to oatmeal stout. And then after you chew it, you get the taste for it, you finish it, you enjoy it, and then by then you will know everything there is to know about the taste of that beer. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate. You swirl it a little bit, smell it. That's a good beer.
Went from Mr. 305, Dade County, to Mr. Worldwide, all around the world. And now, we're international.
All right, so now that we've talked about how to taste the beer, let's see what type of food you want to put that beer with. So we just talked about Miller Lite. Like I said, this is definitely my favorite beer. As you can see, has that little just sparky taste to it, that light taste, that crisp taste. This is definitely a beer you're going to drink outside by the pool, when you're grilling, at a tailgate, at a sporting event. It is overall just going to be the best overall beer, this or Coors Light. So if you're indecisive and you don't know what to choose, I would definitely choose both of these. But let's say, like right now, what I've prepared for lunch, you go out, you want to get tacos for brunch or dinner. What I suggest would be Molson Coors Sol product. This is a cerveza, Hispanic beer. And so two things you want to look at when you're pairing a beer is the ABCs, especially with the 3 C's. You have the cut, the complementary, and the contrast. And so when eating tacos, it's kind of, usually in, Mexican restaurant, they have the Mexican music going on, and it's lively feeling. You want to drink a cerveza. So some of the options of that are Modelo's, Corona Lights. I really prefer Sol. Sol doesn't have a skunky taste to it. It kind of has a smoky taste, which is a little different. So when you're pairing it with tacos, both of these are going to have lime on it. And that's one contrast and complementary that you're going to taste while eating it. And that's why a Sol would more likely go with the tacos than over here the Blue Moon Light Sky. And vice versa. Let's say you're going out to lunch and you want to eat a salad like I prepared today. You're going to want to drink the Blue Moon Light Sky before the Sol because you want that lighter taste. Blue Moon Light Sky has an orangey taste to it, just like a Blue Moon, but it's on the lighter appeal because it's lesser calories. So it's going to be light feeling, just like how you're going to feel when you eat a salad. When you eat a salad, you want to be healthy. You don't want to feel that heaviness, and that's why Blue Moon Light Sky is the perfect match to it. So next time you go out, think of, like I said, the ABCs and the 3 C's, the contrast, and you can also, you got to fit the bill. If you go to a restaurant that's serving, a sports bar and you're getting hot wings, you don't want a glass of wine. Vice versa with everything else. So you want to fit the bill. That's why the Sol fits with the tacos, Blue Moon Light Sky fits with the salad. If you're grilling, a Miller Lite's going to fit more than these two. But overall, you can't go wrong with any of them. They all taste great. They taste amazing. I would choose these 3 beers over any other products of the day. So go enjoy yourself. Go try and match some beer with some food. Cheers. See you next time. Just to give a little quick shout out. So there's a brewmaster. He's kind of a wizard. His name is Grant, and he is the one that taught me about a clean glass. So I just want to give a quick shout out to him. Obviously, you can see no bubbles on the side. This is the sole that I just took a sip of a second ago. You can see the pieces of lime floating in there, so that still means it's a clean glass because, you know, I just put that lime in there. But shout out to Grant for teaching us about this.